Hey, welcome back to the channel. We're going to be looking at some 8 passenger videos. This first one is the most recent one that came out. It came out 6 days ago. So if you're not familiar with 8 passengers, the mother Ruby was basically abusing her kids. And I think the youngest one broke out of the house and was starved and had duct tape on his hands. And luckily she's in jail and she was charged with aggravated child abuse on 2 accounts. But yeah, in one of the videos, she even talked about how she took her oldest son's room away from him because he pranked the little boy, like her younger son. And I heard allegations of they sent him out to a military school kind of deal. And when he came back, they basically took his room away, which is crazy. So we're just going to watch this recent clip.
Shocking new revelations in the child abuse arrest of mom influencer Ruby Franke, who shot to fame, chronicling her life with her husband.
I don't know if you guys saw that. That's the guy I was talking about. Him. He got his room taken away and was living on a beanbag.
Life with her husband and 6 kids on her YouTube channel, 8 Passengers. Today, Ruby Franke's estranged husband, sisters, and nephew are all breaking their silence about her stunning downfall.
What was your reaction when you heard about these charges?
Disgusted, horrified.
On her YouTube channel, the Utah mom was known for
This is the video where she was talking about how she took his room away. This was the video.
dispensing eyebrow-raising parental punishment, like the time her 8-year-old daughter forgot her lunch at school.
Hopefully nobody gives her food and nobody steps in and gives her a lunch.
But nothing could.
So that clip was basically about the daughter went to school and I think she forgot her lunch. So the mom said, because the teacher called her and said, "Oh, hey, your daughter doesn't have a lunch." And she said around the lines of, well, she packs her own lunch, so if she doesn't have food, it's on her. So hopefully no one feeds her and she'll starve, which I think is a weird thing to say. That's your kid. But yeah, that's what that clip was about.
Would prepare fans for the jailhouse jumpsuit-wearing mom's court appearance after she and her new podcasting partner, Jody Hildebrandt, were arrested on felony child abuse charges.
Miss Franke's being held on a no-bail hold.
The women had been offering relationship advice on their podcast when police say Ruby's abused 12-year-old son escaped from a window in Hildebrandt's Utah home.
I just had a 12-year-old boy show up here at my front door asking for help. He's emaciated, he's got tape around his legs, he's hungry, and he's thirsty.
Matthew Franke is Ruby's nephew.
Did you see any red flags that made you think that makes sense?
I'm going to pause it right there just so we can go back. I want to say something about this lady. I think it's her name was Jody, I'm not even sure. But she was basically telling Ruby how to parent the children. So she was basically feeding it into her mind. She was telling her you have to basically abuse the kids so they learn, which is a dumb parenting move in my opinion. So I just want to say that about her. Let's go back to homeboy here.
Franke is Ruby's nephew.
Did you see any red flags that made you think that makes sense?
Not really. We always thought she was kind of weird, a little bit on the stricter side, but nothing that screamed abuse.
Ruby's sisters are also speaking out.
We are in complete shock still as to what she had done because we had no idea of what was happening.
I am beyond disgusted. It is truly unbelievable.
Alright, before we go to the next clip, I just want to say something. I feel like they kind of knew. I don't know, they looked a little suspicious, and this lady here, I don't know where she was filming, but there was such a loud echo, so it sounds like she was filming in I don't know, one of those tennis ball rooms, where you practice, I don't even know what you call it, pickleball? We played wall ball in those rooms, but she's in a very echoey room. She could have filmed that outside or something. That's just stupid. That was stupid to say, but I'm just, putting it out there. So let's go to the next clip. Alright, in this clip we're going to be watching the 9/11 call that started all of this. That kind of exposed her. Even though we had a bunch of things that kind of came out and they were trying to get her canceled. That didn't work. I guess it got shut down. So what are you going to say? The justice system sucks sometimes.
This kid has obviously been... I think he's been detained. He's obviously covered in wounds.
We're taking a closer look at the case of Ruby Franke, the YouTuber mom now accused of child abuse. For the first time, we're hearing the chilling 911 call and emergency radio communications after Franke's son escaped from her business partner's home and was found emaciated with open wounds.
And he asked us to call the police. So he's very afraid.
That 911 call came in just before 11 a.m. on August 30th. A neighbor in Ivins, Utah, a remote area about 4 hours south of Salt Lake City, reported a 12-year-old boy
That's like right down this road from me. It's like 20 minutes from where I live.
showed up at his house asking for help.
911, the address of your emergency. Tell me exactly what's happened.
I just had a 12-year-old boy show up here at my front door asking for help.
The caller then references problems at the neighbor's home before explaining the boy arrived looking emaciated with duct tape around his wrists and ankles.
We know there's been problems at this neighbor's house. He's emaciated, he's got tape around his legs, he's hungry, and he's thirsty.
Officials later determined the boy's mother is Ruby Franke, the YouTuber behind the 8 Passengers channel. Once boasting more than 2 million subscribers, the channel is now defunct after being terminated.
My gosh, you guys, having kids is so much fun.
Yeah, so much fun. You get to abuse them. You get to duct tape them and make them hungry, you know? You get to starve them to death. So much fun. I bet being in prison is more fun.
On her YouTube channel, Franke documented the lives of her 6 children and husband, Kevin, recording videos about everything from home renovations to back-to-school shopping. But Franke's strict mothering tactics came under fire long before her arrest.
And my kids are literally starving. I hesitate to say this because it's going to sound like I'm like a mean barbarian, but I told the kids, I said, I'm not even going to let you eat breakfast until you get your chores done.
In the past, Franke
Who says that and laughs about it? I don't know what's going on in her, I don't know what's going on in her head. Like, she seems crazy.
had addressed critics, saying she wouldn't stop mothering her way.
Online who hate me, who would like to cancel me, who would like to see me either burn in hell, as I've told, or disappear off the face of the earth. And I'm not going anywhere.
But it was Franke's own son who requested 911
She ain't going nowhere but prison. But she didn't see that coming.
be called.
And he asked us to call the police. So he's very afraid. This kid has obviously been... I think he's been detained. He's obviously covered in wounds. We need the cops here as soon as possible.
First responder radio communications captured the moments after this 911 call came into dispatch.
Where he said a 12-year-old male showed up with tape around his legs, thirsty, asking for help, said he was afraid, asking for police. Deborah, he gave the name of Russell Franke, unknown date of birth, or he did give us a date of birth, but I'm not showing any Russells and Spillman. I'll keep looking into that. The RP said he left through the porch of the neighbor's house.
First responders can then be heard discussing the boy's wounds, saying he has sores all over his body.
Does have duct tape around each ankle. He's not telling the RP why, and said that there's sores around his wrists and ankles. He's becoming, or correction, the RP is becoming emotional.
Then, for the first time, Ruby Franke is mentioned by name.
I mean, thank God for them first responders, dude. I honestly thank the Lord that he actually got away, because she'd probably still be abusing and like almost killing these kids if he never got away. So I'm really happy he got away and the neighbor helped him.
Sorry, the RP said that he left from a neighbor's Jody Hildebrand in Ivins, 54-year-old female. Not sure if they're related. When asking the RP's parents info, he said his mom is Ruby Franke, unknown where she lives.
First responders also mentioned Jody Hildebrand, whose home Franke's son escaped from. Franke and Hildebrand have a past relationship, collaborating on parenting videos.
Do you have an address for that, Jody? Sandbar 8.
Anytime you think I want, fill in the blank, I don't care what it is, that is not love. Love is a gift that you offer because you have generated it inside yourself. And
They don't know what they're talking about. They look like idiots, dude. They don't know what they're talking about. They're literally abusers.
how do you generate love? Well, the only way to generate love is you use your agency to choose principles of truth.
First responders then mention the boy's siblings, who are still back at the home.
He's also saying that there's 2 of his sisters are back at the home as well.
Officials say when they arrived to the scene, investigators went to a nearby home, finding other children in similar conditions. In all, 4 children were eventually taken to the Department of Child and Family Services.
10-4 3 minutes, medical's in front of me.
Recordings capture officials arriving to the scene when they see the 12-year-old boy's condition firsthand.
Hey, 314, the wounds on his leg are pretty good. 12X511, 314, medical's gonna transport him, said that his wounds are in need of immediate care.
Next, there's some confusion as first responders ask for a Rose Frankie rather than Ruby Frankie.
Confirming Rose Frankie.
But officials quickly realize it's Ruby Frankie that they're looking for.
7-7, I don't have any Rose Frankies coming back in Stillman or in Utah. I did find a Ruby Frankie, which I sent to 12X11, showing an address out of Springville. However, only involvement is a traffic offense a couple days ago.
Additional first responders again comment on the boy's condition.
12X11, 314 as well. The child looks very emaciated.
Officials then discuss the...
That's just... No, this whole video is sad. This whole case is just sad. You know, I'm just glad she's put away. She can't hurt these kids anymore. I kind of got confused for a minute because they were talking about, like, the kids were found in different houses. I think that's what they said. So I'm just kind of curious on what that was. And the fact that he escaped from Jody's house also kind of confused me. I thought it was Ruby's house he escaped from. So I don't know. I don't know what that's about. Maybe you guys can let me know.
The next steps, deciding the boy needs medical care.
Or you want medical to hold off to transport to the hospital? We need to get some photographs first. 10-4, we're going to have him hold here. Yeah, if he's alert and breathing, just hang out and wait for us, please.
According to a press release, the boy's condition was, quote, so severe that they were seen by the Santa Clara Ivans EMS and transported to a local hospital. Eventually, the conversation comes back to Frankie and Hildebrand over the radio.
After doing a little digging, it looks like that 27 I sent you for Ruby Frankie is going to be the one that is associated with the Jody Hildebrand. They're both showing as therapists from Salt Lake and associated through social media as well.
Control 12X11, does she have an address in Springville?
Yeah, 10-4, she's showing up in Salt Lake per her Facebook. Her and Jody both are therapists showing addresses up or locations for their work up in Salt Lake as well.
Copy, yeah. 10-4, that's going to be the mom. What's the address for that Jody Hildebrand?
Sorry, which address for Jody?
You know what's crazy? He said something about Salt Lake. If they work in Salt Lake, that's such a long drive. And I think they said they were therapists. Which, God, I wonder how many kids they messed up. You know, how many people they messed up in the head. Because these people don't seem like they're very, you know, got it all together.
Do you have an address for her in Kansas?
Yeah, 10-4, she's just a few streets up showing the address of.
At this point, first responders search Hildebrand's home.
7 key hold there, we're searching the house.
Both Frankie and Hildebrand were arrested on August 30th and charged with 2 counts of aggravated child abuse. Those charges have since been upgraded, and now they each face 6 counts of aggravated child abuse. If convicted, that means they could spend 15 years in prison and owe a $10,000 fine. Right now, both are being held in the Washington County Jail. Reporting for Law and Crime Network, I'm Sierra Gillespie.
Yeah, man, $10,000 doesn't sound like a lot because they were making a lot of money. Like, they were making a lot of money. So I don't think, like, 10,000 bail is, like, that much money for them. They'd probably get out the next day. But yeah, like I said when I first started this video, I read that they had 2 aggravated assault charges. So, you know, now they have 6, which is really gonna put them away for a long time. So that's pretty good. Pretty happy about that. So I want to say something about the father before this video ends. Let me see if I can find, they had a lot of photos of the family. Oh, there was one. So this guy, he came out with the press, came out in the press saying like he was not involved in any of this, and they had been separated for half a year or over a year. I think it was over a year, like a year and a half. But how does he not ever, how did he never see the abuse? Did he never see these kids? Or how are you a father of 6 kids and you never checked in on them? I'm just, also I think one of these kids went to college, if I'm not mistaken, because if he's still in this photo, this was a while ago. I'm pretty sure one of these kids went to college or left, something like that. I remember seeing something like that, and if I could assume, maybe her. I don't know much, but yeah, I just want to say something about him because you're a father. How are you not paying attention to your kids? I think he's as much to blame, not fully to blame, but I think he had a part in it. But no one's saying he did. I really don't think so. So, thank you for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment.